Okay, now I'm going to go through and just quickly go through what happens with the order from here. That just to show you what the process is. Not necessarily. I'm going to go in more detail for purchasing and receiving and all that. But I just want you to see what happens. Okay, for the sales rep, you have a dashboard. Okay, this is your dashboard right here. And there's nothing to do here because you've already done the artwork, you've already submitted the order, so there's nothing for you. But I'll walk through this real quickly. This is where if you had messages sent from anybody in the building that wanted to send you a direct message, would be there. If one of your orders had a quality control problem, like it was being printed and there's a hole in the garment, or there's a misprint, you'd be made aware of it here. But also production and purchasing production manager and purchasing would also know. So you may need to respond to it, or you may not. You may it can be just kind of a for your information thing. So you're aware of what's going on with your jobs at all time. If artwork, you requested artwork and it's ready for you to look at, it'll show up here. If you're waiting for artwork that you requested, it would show up here, so you're constantly aware of what you're waiting on. All the information on your active web stores will be here. Obviously more on that later. If you're waiting on a DISUB test print, because DISUB requires a little extra handling with the approval process and test prints, that's going to be there. If you have an order, pre-order artwork order, where you did order artwork and the order is pending, that would be here. Seems like most of mine are that. Open orders ready for rep delivery. So if you selected on one of your orders rep delivery, like I did in that Sojourners one, when that's done, it'll show up here letting me know that I have to deliver that. If I requested samples, it'll show up here, so I'm always aware of the status of my samples and reminded of what I need to do with samples. If I have an add-on order, if I like the Sojourners, I'll work through that in the next video as if there's an add-on to that order, so you can see how that works. And then pre-scheduled jobs. If you pre-scheduled something that's pending because you wanted to reserve the slot, that information will be here, so you're made aware of it. Here's my open order. That's the only thing I see right now because there's nothing more for me to do with it. Actually, I should have entered an art status, approved art or something to that effect. We'll get into that in a second when I get to production, the production manager. But you would have that automatically if you work through the whole system from start to finish on it. In this case, I'm kind of doing this in the middle of it because I got the order ready and so forth. But here's your link to more details if I want to know more about the order. A lot of information. Everything you want to know about the job is right here. But that looks a little overwhelming right now, but it'll make sense as we work through this thing. If you want to look at your PDF, your work order of it, obviously you can click that. That's right there. Let's see. If you did want to go and look at your purchase order, you could also do that here, but I didn't put that on the main page because typically you just want to look at the work order. But if you did want to look at the purchase order, it's there for you. Import stuff. That's both these are import things that are pretty involved, and we'll get into that later. I mean, it's not complex. It's just handled differently. Rep cost error to be corrected. So when the purchasing looks at your purchase order that you entered cost, if your cost is not correct, you'll be notified. For example, if you fat fingered it and you put in your cost is $3 instead of $2, you'll be made aware. And the other side of the coin, if you fat fingered it and put in $1 instead of $2, you'll be made aware of that also. If there's anything that is not correct, you'll be notified here, and then you'll have to correct that. But we'll get into more into that later. But my order, since I submitted it, I'm not going to go through all these right now. We'll do that on a purchasing video, so go on all that. But it shows up here as new orders for purchasing. There's the order date, there's the customer, there's the work order, there's the rep, there's the due date. Has it been ordered? No, it has not. Who's the vendor? S&S. And these are for the other vendors as well. You can roll over and then you got your purchase orders right here. Incidentally, I got to move that over here so Ann can look at that easier. I'll move that when this video is done. But she'll make the order, and then it'll end up over here for Crying Ryan to receive, and you can see here new orders to receive. Ann's should have been like this, where the PDF is right here, easy access, and that's what I'll do. But again, he has it here. He's going to check it in. Have they been ordered? No. When it's been ordered, they'll say yes. And then he can actually go into this and see when she expects it to be ordered, or when it expects to arrive. There's your warehouse it's coming from, the arrival date. Any notes she has on there would be that right here. What department is handling it, so you can see why you had to check that, so he knows where to put it. But more on that later. Again, this is just kind of a quick overview of what happens. And then the production piece, it says here, it shows up as waiting for art approval. And the reason that shows up there is because I did not attach an approved art file, which, because of the not taking this through the whole process, I wasn't prompted for it, but I'd be made aware of that, that I need to approve the artwork. As soon as I hit approved art, then I would do that. And I'll go at the end of this video, I'll go do that. But it's sitting here because there's no approved art attached. Now it's sitting right here, screen printing jobs to be scheduled, and that's what I'm going to focus on for this one. So I can pull up the PDF to see what it's all about as a production manager, have a split screen side by side so I know what's going on. And I can click this, and I can also have the split screen of the production schedule. In this case, I don't need to because there's nothing on it. This is the only thing here. But I can as a production manager, I'm selecting what press it's going to be used, and I'm guessing in this case they'll probably use Spitfire. Big Brown is a new machine that's coming in this week. You guys probably don't know about, but it's going to be cool. So anyway, I got the due date here. I'm going to schedule it. I'm just going to go ahead and schedule it for Thursday the 28th. And estimated time, I would guess 100, what is it, almost 500 pieces with a one color. Probably have to flash print on Spitfire. I'm going to guess that to be 4 hours. I don't know if I'm right about that, but I'm going to put that. If I want to put general notes in so everybody sees them, I can put that there. And actually, I'm going to change the art status right here. No, I'm not going to change it here because I got to have a film made. But anyway, so now I'm going to hit scheduled and hit update. So now you see it drops off the screen printing schedule. I'm getting more detail in this video than I really expected to. But now if I go to a screen printing schedule, here's the screen printing schedule, and you see nothing there right here because this is this week, and the week is Monday to Sunday, and today's Sunday. But this next one gives you the next 15 days. See here, it's the next 15 days. And you can see that there's 4 hours scheduled on Spitfire on that date. And screen printing quality controls down here. That's really going to be cool. More on that later. But let's roll over to the next day here. The next week, I mean. So this is where they would see it. The screen printers would see, okay, it's this job. There's the name of it. The art status is nothing yet because I haven't done it, but it'll all be there. They open up the PDF, they look at it, they check out the approved art, and they get it rolling and so forth. And at that point, they would put in the actual time, and that screen printing is complete. Once you update it, it'll show them how many hours per hour they generated. They put their name in there as the one to do it. and then hit update, okay? Again, another opportunity here to do quality control. You got about 3 different places you can do quality control. And that's pretty much how that works. And once it is done, it'll show up on my board as ready to be delivered. But I don't have the approved art, and here's how you go back and you change something that you didn't get quite right, which in this case I did not, because I didn't attach approved art. So you go to this open orders, and although this is a long, lengthy thing, you'll quickly start figuring out where everything's at. In this case, I'm just going to roll down to the approved art, and I'm going to grab this and go to the approved art, which is right here. And I'm going to hit update. And now if I go back to the production manager board, you'll see that it falls off the artwork waiting to be approved right here, because now the attached artwork is there. So when the production goes to do it, the approved art's there, the work order's there, and all that. For finance, you go here. Here it is. It's ready for Kim to make an invoice. So she would grab this PDF and she would create an invoice, and once it's invoiced and your commissions are added to your ledger, she would say it's invoiced and the ledger's been updated, and then it would fall off her board. That's kind of it in a nutshell for this one. More detail and other stuff in a little bit.